In just a few weeks, we'll probably have our first frost. So I want to be able to remember the garden as it is. I want to be able to remember what did well and what I'd like to repeat for next year. And the puppers want to help too. There they are. So some of the things that did well are this plant over here. This is a black-eyed Susan vine, and I think this is just one plant, so you can see how dense the foliage is. I don't really see any damage. Um, it wasn't like horribly invasive with the other flowers that are over here, so I would definitely like to do this one again. They did really well. I didn't do morning glories, even though they do really well here too. I don't know if you could see like that big bush over there, or just these guys have become like intermingled with this cold hardy kiwi. You don't want to plant them, I guess, by children and animals because the seeds can be toxic if they're eaten. And I've got one, two, three hounds, and they'll eat anything. So, anyway, these ones seem to be a really good choice. I have to figure out how to get their seeds. I wonder if they're in the little seed pods. Not really sure. But I should be able to save tons of seeds because look how many flowers there are. Over here, I have good news. We have 3 of these cold hardy kiwis. This is the first year that we've had any that got this big. I'm really excited to see what they taste like. Sounds like Bobo's excited too. Another thing that worked better than I expected it would are these transplanted sunflowers. So I remember hearing that you can't transplant sunflowers. And while these guys, kind of are a little bit wimpy, they're not huge, um, they were just like a last minute attempt at transplanting them. So if you compare those to some of the ones that just reseed themselves, like this one is clearly doing very well. But I was just happy to know that I could transplant some flowers if I needed to. And I'm going to take some of those spent heads and I'm going to put them in this area over here. In the spring and early summer, it's pretty full, but I wound up cutting a lot of it back and it just never really bounced back. So I figure if I put some seed heads, I already did that. You can see like some of that debris down there. Oh, here's one. Here's a seed head that, I just wanted to let the squirrels get what they want. And also, I'm sure that some of those seeds will just naturally reseed themselves. And then I'll have something for the summertime. That's my hope for next year. Um, but those did better than I thought. Another thing that I also really liked were these dahlias. I started them from tubers, and I realized that I planted them upside down or sideways or something. I don't know, like when you plant the tuber, you're supposed to do it the opposite way that I did it. So whatever I did was silly because they took a while to like even be able to sprout up. But anyway, I'm going to try to dig them up and save them over the winter. And some of them get to be like super tall, like maybe 6, 7, 8 feet. So they had lots of flowers ready to go. I have some yellow ones, a white one. There's a purple one over there. But I really like those. What else did I do? Oh, I got some of these echinacea over here. I just put them in the ground. They're kind of shaded. I'm gonna have to move them, but they are I think they're raspberry sorbet. I don't know. They're a shorter plant than I thought. That wasn't a good place, but I really like their color. They're pretty nice. Um, Over here, I always just kind of struggle with what to do in this area because it's pretty shaded because we have the cold hardy kiwi up here. And I typically try to plant, something that flowers. It just never does well. So I just need to remember that the coleus, those were great. The hostas, they were great, and they'll fill out that area. This was an echinacea, and you could see how, you know, it had a maybe a few weeks of looking nice, but now it's pretty ratty looking. Um, so that probably isn't the best place for it either. What's another thing that did well? Oh, this comfrey did exceptionally well, and they have like these really interesting little flowers. Somebody warned me though that they will take over, so I have to be careful with them. Not sure what to do about them yet. Um, let's see. Oh, and the coleus, they did well here too. I had to cut back a whole bunch of stuff. I had some hollyhocks that were really tall, and they just get rust really quickly. So I moved them. I tried to see if some borage would take off. It didn't do very much at all. There's not, it's like partial sun here, so it's not great for a lot of sun. But I put some bee balm in this area. I think it was the red bee balm, just to see if I could have something uh, that would take off back there. We'll see. I'm not really sure. Um, the this is the first year that I planted in these green stalks, and I just love them. I think that they're so great. Um, the thing that I find them most helpful for are like things that tend to get lost in the in-ground ones. So, for example, like little spinaches, they do great. Salad greens do great. More spinach over here, more over here too. I have some bush beans down here. I think that was a good choice. I'm not sure. They haven't made any beans yet, but they look really healthy. I gotta pull out some of these. Um, what are those? I'm blanking on their name. I call them garden candy. They're really good, but they don't need to be in here. So I say bye bye. um, I also really like them for herbs, like the parsley. These are garden chives. Oh, I have some of these cabbages. Ugh, they bolted though. I guess I put them in a little too early. I don't ever have luck with these. Those are bok choys, but I'm gonna try. More salad greens over here, basil up here. They're doing really good. So this is the second week in September in Zone 5. So I'm in the Hudson Valley in New York State, and things are starting to peter out. Like you could see, um, some of these tomatoes down low have disease and some spent leaves, but they're still going. These are all like grape-sized tomatoes. These are little, I think they're yellow pears, and those are golden cherries and sweet 100s over here. Those are my husband's favorites, but they grow really tall, so I need to have high support. I haven't found slicing tomatoes to grow that tall, so I'm going to keep them on these nice tall trellises. And um, over here are some kale. People say you can't grow it through the summer because it gets bitter. I mean, I haven't found that. Maybe I'm oblivious. I don't know. I think they taste great and they grow all year round. So I think it's pretty good. These were a delightful surprise. They are a garlic chive. So they're perennial, they come back. They flower now, which is nice because there's not a lot of, like the alliums, they flower in the early summer. But I'm going to actually plant these outside the garden. We have a fence because we have deer, but the deer probably won't eat them because they smell garlicky. So I'm going to try that. I have another patch somewhere else. I was really happy with them. This is the plant I was trying to think of earlier. It's a ground cherry, and they are amazing. So they have these little paper husks, and you know that they're ripe when they've fallen to the ground. That's how they get that name. This one's probably ripe. I'll try it. Yep, it's good. They're a little bit sweeter when they're yellow on the inside, but that's how you know they're ready to go. Here's another one. This one looks a little bit more dry, which means Probably not same color. Anyway, they're delicious. We really love them. I have some beets over here. This is another one of those cold hardy kiwis. Part of the problem we were having is we weren't sure if we had male and female plants. So we got another one. I purchased it and just to hope that it's the same species and it'll pollinate this one over here. This was an experiment about cabbage. So, there's like a lot of cover over here. It could be fairly shady. So it means it's kind of hard to figure out what to do with this space. So I was thinking that, um, you know, leafy things tend to be okay with a little bit less sun, and maybe they would be okay under here because they're not producing fruit. I think fruiting plants, they're the ones that need more sun. I mean, nothing has made a head yet, but they all look healthy. And you can just eat like the leaves. Like you could just take one of those leaves and just rip them off and saute it. It's great. They're really prolific. This is just a cabbage, Savoy cabbage. No, sorry, Napa cabbage. Um, that just keeps reseeding itself in other places, and I've saved the seeds and um, had them for a few years. But I've never had a head of cabbage, which is really silly. Mostly because we have the cabbage moths here. So, anyway, over here is where I'm propagating some of these columbines. They're black columbines. I'm gonna put them in the ground soon. They they're lovely. They're really nice in the shade. They're one of the first ones to flower in the spring. Well, not the first, but I guess like late spring. Over here, look at this massive rhubarb. I got these, this one over here, and there's another one over here. I got them as crowns off of Etsy. I think this is like their second year, and they've already split a bunch of times. And so I'm going to transplant them somewhere else. I want to use this space for something else next year, but it seems like I probably have like 3 plants in here, maybe 2 in the other space. That one got more shade, so no problem. Oh, there's Bonnie. She's trying to play. Oh, Bobo's playing. Good Bobo. Buddy wants no part of it. We call it super fast Bonnie when she runs around the greenhouse. Yeah. Anyway, she always wants to play. This is an elderberry tree bush, and it creates tons of elderberries. It's really low maintenance. It's quite nice, but it makes a lot of shade. So I'm trying to think about what can be done in this area. It feels a little bit like a dead zone. It's fairly shaded, and this over here, this like kind of like a little hill over here, is because there was a giant tree, and it got cut down. It's like probably 5 years ago, and we covered it up, and now it's just like a big hill, but you can't dig in there um because the tree stumps there. It still is, it's partially rotted, but so now it's not diggable yet. Came over to see what was happening over here. Bonnie's trying to get Bobo to play, and Buddy is not interested. I don't know if you could tell, but Bonnie's got 3 legs, and she is the fastest dog we have here. When she tries to get Bobo to play, she grabs his back leg, like the one that she's missing. She's Oh, there she goes, super fast Bonnie. She's back. Good luck, Bonnie. Next up is the second in-ground bed. There's 4 of them. We got 1, 2, 3, and 4 over here. This one had lots of shishito peppers. Oh. This ridiculous thing was holding up a squash that was here. Got the vine borers and the squash bugs. So, I don't know. I'm always trying to try different techniques. I had it trained up this one. It's done though for the year. I think, was it 2 years ago? I tried burying it in the ground, and that helped with the squash vine borer just so it could reroot. I didn't do it this year. I wish I did. Over here we have we've got lots of shishito peppers and a puppy in the back. Okay, I'm back. I had to put Bonnie inside. She's getting crazy. So these shishito peppers are really probably one of my favorite peppers. If I could only grow one, I would grow this one. They're really prolific. That's the size that you can harvest them. You can let them get more mature, like the red one back there. But they're not spicy, and you can use them in cooking just like in lieu of other peppers. You can eat the whole thing, but my favorite thing is to pan sear them and make a dipping sauce. It's really good. Got more of the kale over here. It was the dinosaur kale. This plant over here is a hyssop, and it has like a licorice type of flavor. So you can use the leaves to make tea. It's great. I really love it, and it's perennial, so it keeps coming back. It's really nice. Um, Over here we have more of those garlic chives, and over here are some peas. And I figure by the time these guys are done, the tomatoes, the peas could start trellising up. I'll have some peas for the fall garden. And over here is the coolest vine. I'm going to show you that. That's what this vine looks like up close. These are where it's going to flower, I'm guessing, where the seeds are going to be. It's called Malamar spinach. So it likes the heat all summer long. It will grow these leaves that taste like spinach, but they are a little bit more like succulent than spinach. I love this. I was so excited about it. Um, it's lovely. I love those little flowers. I think that you could just grow it honestly just for the flowers or the way the vine looks too. It's got a beautiful burgundy color. I have them growing up this side too. That way I was able to harvest them. So like they didn't get lost in the tangle of the other plants. But they're just adorable. So pretty. This is the next bed, and it is by far the saddest looking bed. Um, well, let's talk about the cool things here first. So we have these orange Turkish eggplants. I love them. They're really cool. They're very unusual looking. I don't know if you can tell, but the flea beetles also love them. So they're like I don't know, they get laced up like this, and I'm sure they would do a lot better if we didn't have all the flea beetles. Is that one over there? Yeah, but we do. I saved on to this super sad squash plant because it's still every so often we'll have a squash. It's lemon squash, and it's one of the last is the last original one. Oh, that one's even dead. Boop. I need to pull this out. Pretty much all the things here and replant for a fall garden. So I have some fennel. Keep trying to have a year where I can get a bulb of fennel, which has not happened. But I like to use these fennel fronds. I put them in soups. It gives it like a sausagey kind of flavor, which I really like. It's nice. We have our huge, massive morning glories, and this is the third time they've pulled down a structure as they got so big. So I have like really, really tall rebar that, if you can see, it's like up there. So it's all the way down there. That held, which is good. We have some more of our slicer tomatoes and tomatillos, more slicers over here in the last bed. These are Brad's Atomic tomatoes. I love them. They're really great. Over here, I tried growing lima beans. I don't know what to do with them, but they're here. I'm gonna see if they were worth planting. There's like a bunch of them back there. This over here is an asparagus and strawberry bed. So you need to let it grow and get wild so it can store up its energy for next year. And over here we have lemon balm, which I love. It smells great. You can use the teas to, or sorry, the flower, not the flower, the leaves to make a tea. It has a great lemony smell. I love it. And this one is one of my favorite unusual types of plants. Um, it's a yard long bean, so they can grow much larger than that. They're much denser than a regular bean. They're delicious. They're like nothing else I've tasted. I transplanted them like 3 times this year, so I really stunted them. But here we go, I was trying to grow up and produce lots of beans. Over here are one of the areas that we have raspberries. They go all along the wall here. We've got some golden raspberries, which are delicious. People always love them when they get to taste them. And then just some regular raspberries too, which are also quite delicious. Yum. Um, this area got really out of control this year. So we planted a thornless blackberry, which did really well. It's really healthy, but there's not enough space. It's being crowded out by these rows of Sharons over here, and also, not like you can tell, but we do have 2 blueberries back there. So I need to kind of deal with this area. I don't know what to do with this. It gets so tall. Um, so I don't know, but this isn't this this didn't go well. This little area. Over here though is really good. The raspberries, they're great. They always do well. And we have I can't remember the name of it. Masai tree? I'm not really sure, but they did really well too this year. They grow these like beautiful little red fruits. They have very, very spiky things. They're nasty if you get poked with them. It's one of those things I don't really know what to do with them. The fruits, they're okay. Um, and for as prolific as they are, I'd love to be able to figure out a recipe for them. Over here, we have the teddy bear sunflowers. Aren't they so cute? I feel like I can't say enough about how cute they are. These guys reseeded themselves from last year. So I just like took some of the old spent sunflowers and I threw them in the ground, hoping they would do that again. And over here, we had a great time for peppers this year. We've got lots of peppers. These are all banana peppers. And then we have more raspberries along this area. Some tomatoes. I pulled some of them out because I was putting in some fall crops. We've got like little cabbages over here and over here. And these are they're petering out. Gonna let them do their thing for another week or two and then take them out. Black-eyed Susans, aren't they pretty? And this is the area which I really struggled with. This is the in-ground part. I don't know if you could tell, but it's also on a slope going down. So some things did really well. Like this reseeded itself, this comfrey. I don't know if it normally does that, but it did, and I was very happy about it. It was the biggest comfrey that we had, was the one that reseeded itself. And we have this little white one over here too, or Gomfrina. I hope I'm saying that right. Some squash I planted later in the year, so hopefully the vine borers wouldn't get them. And some tomatoes down here. This one's a cool squash that I haven't grown before. A Kazuzi squash, I think is what it's called. And look at these flowers. Aren't they really pretty? Here's the female flower. So they survived vine borer damage. They look pretty healthy. I did put them in the ground later, so that might be part of the reason. But we'll see. Let's see what it makes. We'll see if they taste good. Really soft, like very, very fuzzy soft leaves. Have over here are Concord grapes. They're definitely pretty much done for the season, but we cut them back really hard this year, and that really seemed to help them. We have had the issue with the lantern flies, so they love grapes. That's a problem. But like, here's some that haven't quite turned yet. I don't really know what to do with them. They're good, but it's a lot of grapes. We have more of the peppers over here. Some lemongrass. This one's called, I think, a datil pepper. I got it as like a free pepper or free packet of seeds from Baker Creek, but supposedly they're very hot, like habanero hot. So maybe I'll make some. Oh, got one off by accident. Maybe I'll make hot sauce with them. I don't know. These beans did really well. They reseeded themselves from last year. They're like a Kentucky Wonder. Is that the name of it? I don't know. But they were good. I'll let them do that again next year too. And here's more of those Turkish orange eggplants. You can still see how much the flea beetles love them. This area is on an incline, and I think it's like making it hard for the plants. The ones up here all seem to be doing well, but the ones going down the hill, um, I don't know, nobody did great. So I really need to change that for next year. I think most of the soil is just getting washed away. I'm so happy this bee balm um, finally like took off. It's really beautiful. I like it a lot. We have some lemongrasses over here. This year I'm going to see if I can keep some in a pot over the winter and see what that's like. I've got like 4 plants around growing there. And then over here we have some rutabagas. I think those are rutabagas. They might be kohlrabi. I don't know. But over here we have some things for the winter that can handle the cold weather. So I've got them all going down there. And over here we have some kales, some more of the beans. I tried putting another like squash later in the year. Desi squash, I think is what it's called. I'm happy that at least something is happening there. I don't know. I guess that's it. But it's a really fun place for a few months of the year. I'll be sad to see it go. It's funny how every year is different. So you learn a little bit more each year. You find what works well each year. You get some more established plants each year. And it's really fun to experiment. So I just wanted to make this video to remind myself of my thoughts during the year. And the garden year's not over. I'm going to plant some of the fall plants that I have. I still have some more seed starts I have to get in the ground over here and over here. And I'm going to probably reset these garden stocks because we got some basil and warm things that won't last that much longer, and put some of the cold weather things in there. Well, that's it for now.